did in the house. I don't know, hope you're all doing well. So I just want to talk about road rage. This thing happened yesterday. I was out collecting litter on the back country road. So let me just explain. I wish I took a picture. It would have been a lot better to explain it. So there's a road there. There's a road there. There's a road going back the way. It's kind of a crossing. Let's just put it that way. There's a stop sign over this road. There's a stop sign that road. The road that's going straight. There's no stop sign. You can go through. And basically, you have the right of way if you're on the straight road. The other roads you have to stop and check and see if any cars coming. So anyway, this car was coming this way. You're going straight, had the right of way. And this other fellow came down the road where you're supposed to stop. He went straight through, nearly hitting the cow, nearly hitting them. And obviously he got out. I don't know why he got out and raged at the person, because he was in the wrong. He was totally in the wrong. And again, that's why I was saying about having the body camera, because that could have went really nasty. It could have went really nasty because he got out and he, first of all, was kind of abusing each other in the car. The one the he was the person that was breaking the law, was more or less the aggressor. The other person just said, I'm totally in the right, and he kind of got more ticker. And he got out and he threatened to beat the head off them. And then he turned around and looked at the road I was coming up. I was coming down this road. I was coming down the road opposite, that road I was talking about. There's a stop sign. And I heard everything. And I have ever been, because there was no other people around. I was the only person around, apart from the two people in the car. I have every, because that he was going to go and beat the head of, or going to cause damage to the car. I have every knowledge that he would do that, because he was very tick. He was very, very tick. He was boiling at this stage. He was boiling at the road. He was boiling. I thought he was going to melt into the road because he was that tick. So yeah, and I basically just told him to get back in the fuck. If he didn't want to be knocked into the guard's barracks. So yeah, that's more or less, because I make sure I wasn't gonna have it. That he be abusing somebody. That's because this woman was in the right. She'd done everything right. There was nothing like, she was the right and he was in the wrong. And again, I told him to get back in the fuck, and he decided to say something smart to me. Which was a very, very bad idea. To say something smart, because I was willing to say nothing about it, and let them go on their way and say nothing about it. And I give him a good town off. I was going to call for the guards to teach him a lesson, bring him to the barracks to teach him, maybe let him cool down in the barracks. But I just give him a good town off, because he challenged me. He decided to answer me back when I said get back into the car. Whatever Jeep, it was a Jeep or car, whatever it was. I don't know. I'm not too good with cars. At least, but yeah, just saying to people, if you're in the right, just drive on. Don't bother to listen to their crap. And again, he was very, very lucky. He's very, very lucky, because he knew himself that he really fucking wrecks me. He vexed me. He really vexed me. First of all, that he was abusing a young. I think it must have been a young driver, because this woman was probably in her early 30s. And no, she was in the right, and that's the thing. It wasn't like she was giving out to him. Like, he was totally in the wrong. And his aggression towards people, it's fearful to see what he would do to anybody who said boo to him. But the reason why he didn't really do anything to me, because I got my book out. And I was going to take his name. So yeah, I got my book. So, and he would have been. I would have made sure he'd be prosecuted for first of all for abuse, and for obviously a traffic violation. So he knew that he wasn't going to really get off on the fight, because I took my book out, and has basically, it's local authority book. You can write in names and everything. They take names and hand out dog, on the spot fines and everything like that. So yeah, so he basically said he didn't really want to say anymore, because he knew he kind of wouldn't have got the best of me, because I would have probably killed. I would have, like, he answered me back, and after that, there was no such thing as negotiation with me, because I heard enough what he said, to know that I didn't want to give him the time of day to answer me back anymore. But just to say, just drive on anyway. Because I think I handled it well anyway. Because if I didn't say something, I say it would have probably broke a window in the car or something like that. So I was right to say something in the fiend. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. So just always, if it's ever road rage incident, just drive on. Have nothing to do with it. have nothing to do with it. And if it gets like don't how to put it, don't bow to these people, because there's some people in the world take the God given right to do whatever they want in the world. Like this fellow thinks it's his God given right to abuse anybody in the world he can. So yeah, just just ignore them. Simple as that. Anyway, it just goes to show you that I should have a body cam on, because God forbid if something did happen, it would be his word against mine, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I would probably have a better to answer. But like people like that, again, you wonder why should they have a driver's license? Because God forbid if there's an older person, or God forbid if he hit the car, and that woman was killed, or maybe was killed or whatever. Um, you know, what would he do? Would he say God? Like what would he do? Because he's just because them type of people you wouldn't really want in the world, and that's the simple stuff. But anyway, please be mindful of the world, because the world's it's not a nice place. The world's very dangerous. Every second, you never know what can come around the next bend, and that's the simple stuff. But just be careful. The simple as that. And again, don't wise to these people. And probably I should have. I took his name. I did take his name. No, I took it. No, I didn't take it. I didn't take his name. No, I took his license plate. Sorry, not his name. So yeah, I took his license plate, but I didn't take it any further because I was talking to the end of the story. I was talking to the woman afterwards because I knew where she lived, because I often go past her house when I'm picking up litter. This is the back end of nowhere. Let's just make that straight. So I knew where she lived, so I called into her, and she was a bit shaken. She was a bit shaken, but I said she was in the right, and I said if you want to bring anything forward, and she said, I just want to forget about it. Which in hindsight, I think she was probably right, because I say he would have been just ignorant. I say he just would have been ignorant in the courts, and we wouldn't have never got anything out of him. It would have just he just would have insulted anybody, because that's just the type of him. He just would have insulted everybody he could. So yeah, I think she probably made the right decision, just forgetting about it. And that's the moral of the story is just forget about what happened. Unless they do any damage or anything like that, but just forget about what they say. Which was probably the right thing she did. I think she done the right thing, because I would have probably, if that was me, and if I probably should I probably should have said something, probably forwarded it to the gals. But again, I went and she didn't want to forward it, and that's fine. We just forget about it. But again, it's just the matter with the story. She done. I think she did the right thing. Like, she could have went and brought it forward. But she done the right thing and just forgetting about it. But anyway, take a watch and subscribe for more, and bye.